Imagine.
Good to see.
Turn around.
There you go. Your microphones are on.
Oh, yes, they are.
There you go.
A little tight.
Yeah, I mean, you both.
Yikes.
I sent Carla love note.
Got it.
Sending Chrissy an email saying I love you.
We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order, please. Would everyone rise for the invocation? And Pastor Bradley, please come forward.
Join together. Lord, we give you praise and glory. We thank you for this beautiful day that you've given us today and the many blessings that you graciously give us each and every day. We thank you for this great nation and the freedoms that we enjoy. Thank you for the right that we have to vote, and we pray for our president and all those who were elected yesterday. Lord, that you would be with them and bless them and watch over them, give them wisdom as they lead. And Lord, with all the problems that we have and all the difficulties we face as a nation, we're blessed among the nations of the world, and it's so much a blessing to be a citizen. Lord, we thank you for our mayor and city council, that you would be with them tonight in this meeting, that you would be glorified. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Councilman Slacker, could you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Be honored, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Here, click that $10.
Councilman McIntosh. Here. Councilwoman Martin.
Here.
Councilman Slackton.
Here.
Mayor Nelson.
Here.
Councilman Simmons.
Here.
Councilwoman Simon.
Here.
Councilman Longcart.
Here.
Okay, at this time we'll have public comment on agenda items only. And here he is. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing? Hey, Rick Steinmeier and Mayor and Council. It's a real privilege and an honor to be able to speak to my employees.
All right.
I'm glad you all decided to work for me and the other people in this city. Most of your decisions are very good, very good. City's come a long way, especially in the area of safety. And I do have some concerns about the changing of Chapter 4. Chapter 4. Well, let's see here. Let me read you my opinion of. You're hired by us to keep us safe and look out for our welfare. Well, the consumption of alcohol has always been injurious to a neighborhood and detrimental to the public welfare. I think you can all imagine that. And I think if you all deep down look down inside yourself, you say, have I ever been drunk? I think every one of you would say, yeah, I've been drunk, crawling on my hands and knees drunk. I know I have. There's an expression that you'll never see a Jew as drunk as a Gentile. And what does that mean? Well, the Jewish people are smart enough not to let themselves be disabled by alcohol, to be defenseless to being drunk under the influence of alcohol. There's no other violent way to die besides in a car accident. There's thousands, tens of thousands of people are killed every year. Hundreds of thousands in the last 10, 20 years on the highways by alcohol, use of alcohol. Oh, it's legal. Sure it is. They tried, the government tried, right? Al Capone killed over 50 people because of alcohol. And now you're asking, the administration is asking for the power to give away consumption on premises at their whim. I don't think that's right. It's your job as a hired help to oversee the safety of this city. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else this time, please come forward on any agenda item.
Good evening, Christine Ross from the Bonita Springs Area Chamber of Commerce. In looking through the agenda, I just wanted to point out under Section 11 that it would be great for us in the future to know about the openings on the Southwest Florida Regional Planning Council. I'm sure that the person spoken about in the green sheet is fine and capable. The Chamber, the Government Affairs Committee would love to have had the opportunity to suggest some other individuals as well, so that you would have selection of the best candidates from which to choose. So if that could be the case in the future, we'd really appreciate the opportunity. And then we sent some comments over on the Chapter 4 changes that have already been given to staff, as I cannot be at the LPA meeting tomorrow morning, but we wanted to respond to the information. Thank
Good.
you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else at this time, please come forward on agenda items. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and go to proclamations and presentations. At this time, let's see, I will do something. This is the presentation of the to Bobby Bird and Terry LeMain. Are you here?
Flowers are.
Could you please come forward? No, I'm sorry. You have to come up here.
Hey, surprise,
See, these flowers were presented to them for their hard work that they do really all the time, and all our special events and everything like this. But this was for our Riverfest and for the fish fry and our autumn celebration. Thank you so much. It was such a great time. Everyone enjoyed it. You guys worked so hard on it, and I got to tell you, you're just a joy to be around. And everywhere you go, you bring smiles to people's faces. So everyone, please give them a hand.
We could not do, we couldn't do this without all of our volunteers. This community has just an attitude of volunteerism that just floors me. Anytime you look around and you say, we need, someone is standing right up saying, I'll give it to you, whatever you need before you even know. And the second thing I'd like to say is that this would not be possible if it hadn't been for the foundation of Riverfest that was brought to us by Councilwoman Simon, and all of her hard work and her volunteers and the inception of the idea to bring it forward for the community.
Thank you very much. Everyone, please thank him again. Did I say something?
Congratulations.
Oh, okay.
Ben?
Yes? Oh,
So much. Yeah.
Photo op. huh?
Photo op.
You know what those are, Terry.
I'm sure you do.
I think I'll stay here.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you. Okay, and now, is there a representative from Pumpkin King Productions here? Come on forward.
We have one person that's bringing the check, so you can skip over us until she gets here.
Oh, okay, all right. We can do that.
For a check, yeah.
Skipping over people is, no, never mind. Presentation of the Hometown Hero Award. Would you come forward, Councilman?
Hometown hero.
I think you've all read about this young man in the paper, and this is something that Councilman Slacka brought forward to our attention as well, and so I'm going to turn it over to Councilman.
Thank you. Would Commander Prentke please join me up here? From Commander from Post 303, Bonita Springs. Jackson, would you please come forward? Jackson Bonar is a member of Post 388, Sons of the American Legion. And we are recognizing him today because of the heroic act he helped out a bus driver who was ill, possibly a heart attack, on September 18th. What he did was move the gentleman aside and applied the brakes and saved his life as well as the bus driver's life. And for that, we are so very, very proud of you. And at this moment, the commander and I would like to salute you. Okay? As we do in the lead. And salute. And the mayor has been so kind as to proclaim tomorrow, November 8th, as Jackson Bonar Day. And just a little bit more about Jackson. He is nationally known already. Last I heard from my neighbor was that the Today Show called him and they're willing to fly him all down. But Jackson indicated that he's getting tired of all the recognition. He even turned down Ellen DeGeneres. Would you believe that? But anyway, Jackson, we're very, very proud of you. And again, accept this on behalf of the mayor and the council. You're welcome. Okay? You can read it. Go ahead.
I'm going to read this for you, just to embarrass you. You ready? Let me get so I can see it right there. There you are right there. See? Now I'm making you nervous, right? For his act of heroism on Tuesday, September 18th, 2012, in taking control of a school bus after the school bus driver suffered an apparent heart attack and lost control, on behalf of the City Council of the City of Bonita Springs, we do hereby proclaim November 8th, 2012 as Jackson Bonar Day in the City of Bonita Springs. How about that, brother?
So cool.
And if you need somebody to go to the Ellen DeGeneres show with you, I'll be glad to go with you. If nobody else will, I'll go with you. No, I do not.
You shake him.
Shake him.
One more.
Good job.
Now, Jackson's got homework to do, and so he's going to be heading on home because his mom is sitting in the audience, Paula, and she's very strict about the homework, so he's got to go. Mike Morgan, would you please come up here, and Pastor and Kathy Bradley, would you please join me? Michael Morgan is the creator and architect, the whole 9 yards regarding our new Veterans Memorial Monument. And he has given so much of himself, and he did some of it freely. And we are so proud of that monument. I'm just happy as can be that the city of Bonita Springs finally has a Veterans Monument dedicated to all branches of services and to all veterans. And if it wasn't for Michael, we wouldn't have that beauty sitting there at Riverside Park. So, a certificate of appreciation presented to Mike Morgan for your dedicated efforts in design and building of the Veterans Memorial Monument at Riverside Park. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Next, we have a presentation of a report on the year's sea turtle season. Or did our check get here? Yeah. Oh, it did?
Oh, she's here.
That's what you were trying to do. See, that's how clever I am. Okay, at this time, we'd like to go ahead and have the Pumpkin King Productions representatives come forward, please. Now, for all of you who don't know what I just said, which Pumpkin King, this is the people who did the haunted walk for us there at Riverside Park. For days and days and days, they stayed there and stayed there. It was a lot of fun, except for the part where Carl participated, and he just scared everybody just to pieces with that. Yeah, the mask was just way too realistic. Come on up, come on.
Was he pretending to be a city manager?
Hello. He was. Hey,
Glad you
see
weren't
you.
really
See you.
close to your
Hello.
mic on that, sir.
Hello, I know. Hey, no, what's up?
It's nice to
Hello?
see what you
Hello?
really
Oh,
look
it's good to see you
like.
again. These are my fellow
Maybe this
monsters.
is a costume.
They actually, come on forward a little bit more. There you go, come on. They actually let me come out and play, too. I got to be a zombie one night in Frankenstein, a kind of a Frankenstein, I don't know. I got heavily critiqued by kids like this big. They're like, you're like Frankenstein, you're like more like just ugly guy. I'm like,
Frankenmayer.
Frankenstein does not like being told that, as it comes to find out.
Frankenmayer.
But anyway, I hear you have something to present to the assistant's office.
Yes. Well, first of all, we are Pumpkin King Productions, and we wanted to finalize the season by thanking the people that really supported us. Thank you to the City Council and the community for helping us so much and supporting us. A huge thanks to Laura Taylor and Patrick for getting us through all the hoops to get us into the park and get everything taken care of. And a special thanks to you gentlemen, Mayor and City Manager, for coming out and helping us for the couple of nights that you did. We were polling everybody as they came out, and to get their opinions and voting on the sets, and everybody was so positive. And especially the nights that you gentlemen were there, they really thought that was great, and we really appreciate you coming out, and it really did make a big difference. Thank you so much. And also, on the sets, people have been asking which ones won, because they were sponsored by different people. The Headless Horseman was first place.
Yep, cool.
And that was, they were sponsored by Trimmers Holiday Decor. Second was Nightmare on Elm Street. That was sponsored by the Naples-Fort Myers Greyhound Track. And third was The Exorcist, sponsored by Opera Naples. And I think for a first-year effort, everything went very well, and we were able to collect $1,000 for Bonita Assistance. So, and we also wanted to give you each a little something to remember. Where's the? Yeah, we figured this was appropriate for our shocking Frankenstein. If you came out and saw, you know what we're talking about. And to our city manager, oh yes, we have definitely unmasked some of your hidden talents.
You gotta open it. Yeah, get it out of there.
Certainly. Thank you all very much. We enjoyed it, and we're looking forward to next year.
Stay for a picture together.
I'd like to thank the Academy. No. Thank you very much. And thank all of you for all you do.
Yes, that was great.
We, on behalf of the board of the Assistant's Office, but mostly on behalf of the families who will benefit from this incredible check, believe me, this time is the best time for us to get this. We are getting close to our holidays, and this tremendous support will bring a lot of happiness to many children this Christmas. So thank you very much. Everything was flawless. We have heard just good things about the event, and people are looking forward to have you again. And you can count on the support of the Bonita Assistance Office.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Very nice.
Oh, that's cute. Aw.
And who says we don't get perks up here? Look at this.
Cute.
That's pretty cool.
That is very cool.
Okay. At this time, we'll go ahead and do the, could we have Eve, would you please come up? Eve Haverfield is going to give us a report on this year's sea turtle season.
Do I have to introduce myself again?
Yeah, that's all right. Go ahead.
I'm here to tell you, to answer the question, so how are the turtles doing? The 2012 sea turtle nesting season can best be summarized as it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Just as a little bit background, between 1998 and 2007, there was a really steep decline of loggerhead nests on all Florida beaches. Here on Bonita Beach, we went from 105 nests in 2000 to 22 nests in 2005.
Eve, I'm going to ask you to
Decline.
speak into the microphone a little more. I'm a big
Yes.
person. Yeah, I want
How's
to make
that?
sure everybody hears you, okay?
You want me to repeat those figures?
No, that's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So
Sorry.
the cause for that drastic decline, we're really not even sure. It's still being explored. But the question was, where are the turtles? Are they just not coming back? Are they dead? You know, what's happening? This year, I am very, very happy to announce that we documented an all-time record high of nest counts on Bonita Beach. We had 122 nests. In addition to that, we had 196 non-nesting emergencies, meaning the turtles came ashore, but for whatever reason did not nest. On Big Hickory Island, we had 15 nests. We have, that in 1999, we had 16 nests. Since that time, we would have like 1 or 2 nests each season. So the 15 was just astounding for us. The total nest counts for all the beaches that Turtle Time monitors moved up from 167 nests, which was our all-time high, to 203 nests this year. This year was really fun. Our first nest on Bonita Beach occurred on April 23rd, and until June 23rd, it really was the best of times on the beach. It was exciting, people were engaged, it was just a wonderful, wonderful, thrilling experience. But then enter Tropical Storm Debbie on June 23rd, and 2 months later, Tropical Storm Isaac. It became the worst of times. Debbie washed away 34 of our nests, and Isaac washed away 5 more nests. Almost 200 hatchlings drowned, close to 3,000 eggs never developed. The good thing about all this, I know I'm trying to not be so down here. The good thing about all this is that we know that the turtles are out there now. We didn't for 10, 12 years. We wondered where they were. Now we know they are out there. They're coming back ashore to nest. Our hope is that this trend will continue, that the next few seasons will confirm, yes, the turtles are there. And maybe, just maybe, the last 30, 35 years of sea turtle conservation is coming to fruition. I'd like to think so. Out of the nests that did survive, 7,133 hatchlings made it to the Gulf. That sounds like a lot of hatchlings, but maybe at the lowest end, 7 hatchlings, and at the highest end, maybe 28 hatchlings will survive out of all those 7,000 some hatchlings. Only 1 to 4 out of 1,000 survive. So it's really, really important for us to get as many hatchlings into the Gulf as possible. So I'm so pleased that this year we did not have any nest disorientations on Bonita Beach. And I'd like to thank Mike Kirby and his team for helping residents adjust their outside lights so that the hatchlings crawl to the Gulf instead of to the street. I don't enjoy scraping turtles off the beach. Hopefully by next season, everyone will be in lighting compliance. And just a reminder, people who live along the beach need to only use amber yellow or amber LED lights on any fixture that is visible on the beach. Those lights are turtle friendly. The 25-watt incandescent light are no longer being manufactured. They're no longer available. And the 25 or the amber LEDs are turtle friendly. So when a visitor comes to someone's rental property and flicks on the switch, it will be a turtle friendly light. We did document several instances of turtles getting tangled up in furniture. Entanglement is considered a harassment under the Endangered Species Act, and hopefully next year we can address that issue a little bit more carefully. I'd like to thank the council. I'd like to thank Mr. Schwing and staff and everyone for their willingness to work with us. It's just a pleasure. I love doing Riverfest. I also like to thank the Sheriff's Department for helping us, the volunteers, the residents, and even visitors for making Bonita Beach so turtle-friendly and for making it an exciting place during the summer. If I may, I'd like to just publicly also thank Filiberto Rodriguez from Amazon Sheds and Gazebos for his generosity in helping us find a new home for our turtle mobile. So in answer to your question, John, how are the turtles doing? Doing pretty well. I mean, we had a lot of turtles. We just didn't have as many hatchlings as we would like to have had.
Okay, well, thank you. Eve, does anybody have any questions for Eve? Yep.
Go ahead.
Pete, go ahead first, and then you go with
You said
Martha.
you had 7,000 someone. What do you normally have? What do you normally have?
Well, the best figures we've ever had for Bonita Beach was, I can tell you exactly, was 11,175 hatchlings. Had the average nest is 100 to 120 eggs average. So multiply that by 122, you get what? About 15,000 or something like that, or more.
Wonderful.
So 7,100 or 7,130 is not shameful. It's not that bad.
Right.
I mean, we lost 32% of our hatchlings, but of our nests. But because Bonita Beach is such a healthy beach, it's a beach that allows it.
I'm sorry, what was that?
It is a healthy beach where seaweed is left to dry on the beach to trap sand. It's an inexpensive way for beach nourishment, actually. It's a healthy beach. It drains well. So those nests that did not get washed away really did quite well.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your work.
Good, good.
My
Martha?
pleasure.
Thank you. Two things. Can you just speak about ambient light, sky glow, and what maybe we can do? Because Eve was so nice to send me the Florida Department of Transportation turtle-friendly lighting program. Is there anything that we could do to improve the lighting along the beach or the sky glow that you've seen?
Well, sky glow definitely is a problem. I mean, I can show you pictures of this haze of white light that sea turtles will see offshore. Those lights can actually draw turtles back out of the water. It's a glow that's created by light that's basically propelled into the sky. It's a waste of energy. The ideal manner in managing light is to direct it there where you need it, straight down, rather than scattering it into infinity. And of course, the LED lights.
LED.
Yes.
Okay.
Good question.
Anyone else with a question? Yes, Steve.
Yeah. What you mentioned about the turtles getting tangled up in furniture. What kind of furniture are they getting tangled up in?
Beach furniture, cabanas, beach chairs left out on the beach. And really, they should be removed from the beach if there is no dune vegetation. If there is dune vegetation, and many places on Bonita Beach have wonderful dunes, if the beach furniture is behind the dunes, then the turtles will not ordinarily crawl through the dunes to to the area where the beach furniture is. The areas where we did encounter the entanglement, the people have no dunes whatsoever, and in other cases, the chairs were just left out on the beach.
Okay. Could you give us a location of where that is it right by docks or anything like that?
Docks, actually, we did have an entanglement there, but docks, I must say, has gone out of, they have gone out of their way. We did have a nest right in between their jet skis, and they have gone out of their way to make sure that that nest is protected. I mean, ideally, I'd love to see it all off the beach, but you know, we are cooperative. We work with. It's just the chairs that are left randomly on the beach and hit and scattered. Those are the ones that are a problem.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other questions for Eve? Eve, thank you very much. Well done. I want everybody to know Eve works very hard at this. I want you, please give her a hand for everything she does to this result. Okay, we're on our way to the consent agenda. Does council, do you have anything would you like to pull from the consent agenda before we vote on it in its entirety? Anything? Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Is there a second? There's a second. Bill? We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Martin?
Aye.
Councilman Slackton?
Aye.
Mayor Nelson?
Aye.
Councilman Simmons?
Aye.
Councilwoman Simons?
Aye.
Councilman Longcart?
Aye.
Councilman McIntosh?
Okay, we are at public comment again. If any of the public would wish to speak at this time, please come forward. Yeah, come on up, Kathy.
Good evening. For the record, Kathy McGrath. Ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't here for the last meeting last month when Cafe of Life was discussed, and I am here for my 3 minutes of infamy. I took a drive out there today to refresh my memory, and from 41 into the entrance to Lightner Creek is 7/10 of a mile. It's another 3/10 all the way to the property. That's almost a mile. All right. I'll read this so I can get my 3 minutes in. First of all, I think spending between $400,000 and $500,000 for a glorified pavilion with no kitchen is ridiculous. I realize that it'll cost money to build the park too, and I know this is not city money. Okay. Yes, we wanted them out of downtown, but not at the expense of the Lightner Creek people. As for any of their surveys, I didn't see the wordage, but I doubt it was 100% the truth. I'm sure that they put their spin magic there. I would only trust a survey by a third party. I do know that in the second survey, and I could say, oh, 50% of the property owners who don't live there were opposed to it. But when you delve further, of course, they sent out 78, 12 responded, and half of them were opposed to it. So you can see how you can put a spin on it. And we know how spin put on. Look at those amendments yesterday. I know there was half the people at the ice cream social, they didn't know what was going on, and the kids were having a ball having ice cream, and there was a language barrier. And I know from a credible source who asked one of the residents if they realized that the people they were planning to serve there were the ones from the banyan tree, and they were surprised. They said, no, I didn't know that. I also know from a credible source that one of the volunteers, and believe me, they work very hard and they're well-meaning, who lives in a gated community out east on Bonita Beach Road, when asked, would you like this across your room? She, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Sure, tell people you're going to build a park for the kids and serve free meals 5 days a week, and who wouldn't say, fine, I have no problem with that. I know friends that have lived there since the 70s, and they've thrown up their hands in despair. They're very, very, very upset about it. Yes, I'm sure you've received support from, I have to say this, the religious do-gooders, I call them. The only two agencies in town that handle the needy properly and keep records are the Assistance Office and St. Leo's. The rest just want to give and give and give. They won't cooperate. They won't collaborate with any lists because it makes them feel good. But I hope you realize that these people are double, triple, and quadruple dipping, getting food stamps, and then taking the food back to get cash. They don't get it on their EBT card. And there's other scams, but I won't go into it because I don't have time. Not only was I in line 2 hours and 45 minutes and people approached me and talked about it yesterday, but also at the dinner Friday night. And I won't name the people because I have not asked their permission. But there's not just me upset about this. There's a lot of people in town that are upset. And I think you're going to see a backlash like you've seen with St. Matthews. And speaking of St. Matthews, I just heard via the grapevine that St. Matthews will not accept any people in their shelter that are from Bonita. They're just not welcome. So much for being good religious people. I feel that the council yes votes were from the heart with compassion and not with logic and common sense. Decisions should be made considering the entire city and not some special interest group. Would you like them coming through your neighborhood? First all the volunteers, then all the people to eat, and then reverse 3 hours later? I guess I better wrap this up. What I like to say is I think if you look at all the evidence, I just wonder if there's anybody who did a yes vote that's sitting there would be a person enough to find out if there's some way that you could rescind the vote and look at the evidence again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Anyone else this time? Please come forward.
Hi, I'm Deb McLean with the Banana Peel, and I would like to talk in historic perception of soup kitchens. In Collier County, there was a wonderful church, the Methodist Church, I believe, Ben, you're a Methodist, and they had a little group that got together and started serving the poor people in the neighborhood. It grew, and they started sleeping up against the building in the shade where it was cool or in the sun side where it was warm, and the church threw the soup kitchen out. Unfortunately for Collier County and the beautiful government complex, the fire department at that time had outgrown their building. It was functionally obsolete. It housed one vehicle, had 4 bedrooms, and a full kitchen. So they gifted the firehouse to the soup kitchen people, thinking they were doing a good deed. And that was the birth of St. Matthew's. When you give a soup kitchen a permanent address, it grows and morphs. For instance, on the town of Fort Myers Beach, Chapel Hill Catholic Church now has a soup kitchen, and Sheriff Mike Scott has the statistics. Once it got established, and the do-gooders get old, by the way, and new people come, their crime statistics have skyrocketed. I, too, am asking the 4 people who voted yes for the Cafe of Life to consider what the constituents, not their friends and neighbors or a group, think, but what the whole city thinks. Somebody of the 4 have the guts to get up and say, we need to review this issue again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else this time? Please come forward.
Yes, Rick Steinmeier. Article 9A, I'd like to have you all look at 4.204A6. COP is consumption on premise. And 42020, mobile food carts and hucksters. Hey, that's what we need is hucksters. And 4.83.6, it seems like there's no appeal to administrative action. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else this time? Please come forward. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and go to the city attorney's report. Audrey, what do you have for us tonight?
Thank you. Let me get to the microphone. I have a couple of ordinances that I want permission to advertise. The first ordinance, as mentioned by Mr. Steinmeier, is the ordinance dealing with the zoning ordinance. I don't have to read the title block into the record, but if you want, I can give you kind of a summary, or the green sheet has a summary on the second page as to what the changes. Now, at this point, the local planning agency has not seen the ordinance. It will be reviewed by them both tomorrow and in December for consistency with the comprehensive plan. These are changes that have come to City Council. Most of them have come to City Council in what I call bits or pieces. So, for example, use permits. If you recall, about a month ago, I had that on the agenda. Administrative appeals. We discussed that, and staff and I worked on the administrative appeals section. There are some things in here that are recommendations that I believe horticultural waste transfer facilities came through some zoning cases. There are some things that are staff recommendations, and staff can explain them as we go through the hearing process if you're willing to go forward with the hearing process.
Okay, and council, this is approval of just to begin the hearing process.
Correct.
Formally, so that we can have public comment and whatnot, right?
That's right.
Anyone wish to go ahead and move this to the hearing?
I'll make that motion.
There's a motion to send this to the first part of the hearing process. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Martha.
Thank you. Mr. Steinmeier brought up a very good point about consumption on premises being an administrative action, because I know we've had some sort of itchy moments. Councilwoman Martin might remember a case that came before us in which maybe it wasn't appropriate to have a consumption on premises. You could have reviewed it depending on who you were and said, well, that's perfectly fine, we could have it there. But you probably wouldn't have known what the reaction of the neighborhood would have been, and maybe what the history of the property might have been. So I'm very, no offense to the staff, because I think you're excellent and very professional and you know your stuff, but being an elected person, I'm here to represent, as we all are, the people's voice, and I just don't like to give that away to administrative approvals, because what that does is it weakens the mayor and the council. And I don't want to weaken the mayor and the council for future mayors and councils, much less this one. So I would be, I would ask the my colleagues here to please consider that strongly, because I think that's a very important point that Mr. Steinmeier brought forward.
Well, let me explain something. The change that deals with consumption on premises in this particular matter only deals with consumption on premises for the administrative application, what they need to turn in. Staff has been processing administrative amendments for consumption on premises within their limited authority. And by limited authority, it's usually indoor restaurants. Outdoor seating has always come to City Council and will continue to come to City Council. There are other ones in the code, variances from site distance. If you remember, I believe Lansdowner came before council because it was located very close to some religious
This has been a
institutions.
ministerial function since we've been the city. Is that
Absolutely,
correct?
before we were city, yes, sir.
I just want to make clear. Okay.
So this just says what they need to turn in for paperwork when they're doing an administrative application. We've always treated administrative applications where we did a lot of waivers. For example, a lot of times you don't need a transportation impact statement, which does cost hundreds
It's money.
of dollars.
Yeah.
So this sets up a separate section dealing with administrative amendments, and that's one element of a type of administrative amendment that has always been done. Jackie?
Well, yeah. There was one case, Mayor, and Councilwoman Martin remembers what I mean, remembers which one I mean, and maybe she can refresh my memory. It was Serape. She can refresh my memory. Was that for outside seating only, or was it for indoor consumption on premises? Because that's, as I remember,
If it
that
came
was
to you, it would have
It's a
been
zoning case.
a zoning case, and there could have been some other variables such as site distance.
okay. Well, I just don't want to give away more authority on administrative process.
And staff will give their recommendation based on planning whether it's suitable in an area or not. Now, neighbors will not always agree whether things are suitable in a neighborhood or not, and that's why we have the hearings. But there are parameters where staff can do things administratively and where staff cannot do things administratively. If you want us to go back in and look at where staff has the authority to give administrative amendments dealing with consumption on premises, for example, in restaurants indoors, or that's pretty much the only one you have, isn't it?
I mean, that might be one. Yeah, well,
That might be
restaurant
something that
indoors
we
is
may
pretty
want
much
to
where you
look,
have consumption on
understanding that
or
this is the same council
clubs.
that was upset over processing of permits taking a long time, where we did provide more administrative amendments, including also the old 41 area.
Why don't we do this, Council, if we could? At the first reading there, if you would make sure that you come back with a really good explanation as to when you're able to, as staff, to give the permission for that, under what conditions, and under what conditions you can't do that. So maybe that will give everybody a little more comfort as to how it's always been, not as proposed, but as it's always been. Would that be all right?
Well, yeah, that's a good idea, Mayor. Because it's always been that way, I don't know that it always needs to be that way. And that's another question, because as we grow as a city, we're going to start bumping elbows with neighbors up against possible bars. There's something that's going on right now where there's live music. I don't know whether this place is staying open after the hours that it's zoned for. I'd just like to look at that. I'll come and talk to John. But that's when that starts happening, and there's enforcement actions, and there's nobody around to really enforce that late at night. I mean, you've got your police officers, but they wouldn't have access to a zoning file or whatever. So you hesitate to call them. You don't want to bother them.
I would submit one thing too, and I think you're right to be concerned, but I would submit that in residential neighborhoods, it's probably more of a problem than it is on commercial establishments.
I would say.
Yeah, there's a lot of loud music being played and a lot of drinking going on at people's houses. So, I mean, big parties. In some neighborhoods that I won't mention. Bonita Bay, darn it. No, I'm just kidding. This guy's house over here.
Not my neighborhood.
He's crazy. That
Pelican
Peter.
Landing. The Trianon Hotel last night.
Okay, with that, any other discussion?
My house last night.
Oh, man. Oh. Hey, Bill, go ahead.
Audrey,
I knew you'd get that in there somewhere.
I knew it.
Audrey, the LPA is
Okay, I
meeting
got my
tomorrow
clean
on
on.
this, right?
Yes, sir. Along with not just tomorrow, I'm having the LPA have 2 times looking at it.
Okay, why are we doing this before the LPA? I happen to think that listening to the LPA is interesting.
Mhm.
and I don't get a chance to do that other than the fact I have the agenda for tomorrow. So I'm uncomfortable with without the LPA's 'cause They
Input?
do a great job, and they really are very thorough. And my suggestion would be I can't move it on because of that. And the other thing is these administrative approvals. I'm very uncomfortable with administrative approvals based on the history that I've seen in 5 years on the board. I would prefer to have more people look at things rather than less, because more input, maybe a better idea, and so that's my position on this.
And I think you raised a very good point, which is kind of a chicken and the egg situation. It's a process issue. And you have different types of ordinances. You have the ordinances where council has directed the LPA to do a function. Then you have the ordinances where you have provided direction to me where LPA is reviewing the ordinance for consistency with the comprehensive plan. Certainly, we will make changes based on how the LPA has reviewed the ordinance. And I agree with you, their eyes are excellent. In the past, I have only done one hearing, and because of record keeping along with hearings and some other issues, such as a lot of major changes, I always worry about challenges there, I've always scheduled the LPA hearing in the middle of the public hearings. And so I've always done it as a one. This is actually a new approach where I am doing the 2 hearings, but what I'm asking today is to start setting up the advertisement for this, because it is costly to advertise the ordinances. We do try to couple ordinances together so that we can include them all in one advertisement to save money. I think from a process standpoint, I'm trying to get the LPA in earlier along with having another, but it's not as if one of these ordinances that the LPA would be working on as I work on it, along with staff. The second point on that is that, so we have 2 ordinances with that. So they'll have their comments tomorrow, and we'll get them, and then we'll find out what City Council feels, as we got some comments today, when you go through and you make it more narrow to what you agree and not agree with.
In other words, today, we're giving you permission to advertise this so that the public will be notified so
Right.
that they can comment about it in the future. And
That's correct.
Okay.
Well, they would be notified anyway after the LPA meeting when we have our first meeting.
Well, but then I'm spending money on advertisement, so I'm
Look,
trying
look, wait a
to.
minute, hold it. Sometimes it's necessary to spend money for important things, making sure that the documentation is correct or in the best form, as opposed to, because then you just open up a can of worms.
I
So
don't
that's all. That's
disagree.
all I'm
Okay,
saying.
okay. Go ahead, Bill.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's it. I'm done.
Yeah, okay. Bill's registered his
Concern.
opinion on the thing. Any other comments on this? There's a motion and a second to forward this, give permission to advertise this. Any other comments?
Well, we only have one meeting this month. Next month, we only have one meeting. So if we're advertising it now, when would we have the second hearing?
The hearings are, on the green sheet, on December 5th, 2012 will be your actual first reading. Now, this is a land use ordinance, so it goes through 2 public hearings with you. And then you'll have another public hearing on December 19th. The LPA's actual official review for consistency will be on December 13th.
Okay.
Okay, but we're
All right.
actually taking it tomorrow so they can have a pre-shot.
Okay, that's good. I like a pre-shot. All right, little review there. That's nice. But we are coming into the holiday season, and maybe the public would like to review. I would just say that maybe we could advertise it for January, the beginning of January, because how long has this taken to get this done?
It's taken a while, but you will be seeing some other ordinances, and I'm not sure, I mean, I exhausted council pretty badly in the summer when we had the 4 land development code. You had some easy ones, but you also had the other zoning 4. You're going to have some other complicated ones coming up soon.
Okay, well, I think we handle it. I'm just thinking what Bill said about the public. Everybody's going to be preoccupied with holiday season.
Yes.
Well, and you may find, council knows this, that if at that first reading, if there is any outcry from the public at all, if there's any disturbance that you can think of, if there's anything that you want to see added to traffic, you can always move that along.
Right, we could always continue for a date certain, but I would recommend not postponing the initial process only because you are going to have some other ordinances coming up soon.
I don't think we'll have an outcry from the public because people are going to be busy cooking turkeys and shopping for
But if you
things.
have a concern,
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Good, good. All right. And any other comments? Any other questions?
I do.
Okay, let's just take roll call, please.
Councilman Slakta.
Aye.
Mayor Nelson.
Aye.
Councilman Simmons.
Aye.
Councilwoman Simons. Councilman Longcor.
No.
Councilman McIntosh.
Aye.
Councilwoman Martin.
Aye.
Okay, it's moved to first reading. And what else do you have for us, Audrey?
I
You
have another ordinance. This is the Property Maintenance Code. We have the PODS language. We also have in here, we've always had in the Property Maintenance Code provisions for lighting, and I think it's appropriate that we had Ms. Haverfield for Turtle Time here today. We also have some language in there for when the streetlight providers such as FP&L provide streetlights, and there's another state statute on it, that there are certain conditions on how they are to place them. So those are the main things in the changes. We did do some other amendments to it, basically defining what is a landowner so that it could be a tenant, so that the ordinance was changed throughout the years, and we have some loosey-goosey terms, so it kind of tightened it up a little bit there.
Okay.
This, again, will be scheduled for, if council agrees, it'll be scheduled for public hearings on December 5th and December 19th, with local planning agency having their official review on December 13th, but having their pre-review on tomorrow, November 8th.
Okay, council, would you like to give permission to advertise?
Yep, make
Yep.
a motion.
Motion?
Yes.
Second.
And motion and second, at the end of the counter on there. Any other discussion on this particular?
Just if I may, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Audrey, regarding the pods, the residential 14 days that you're allowed to have the pods under, is that consistent with the majority of the state?
I don't know if it's consistent with the majority of the state. I did take it from another jurisdiction. There are, a lot of places don't have any pod restrictions.
None whatsoever, okay.
It's a relatively new, phenomenon. There's about 5, I think, in the state of Florida. There are some in other areas, but I want to say 14 seemed about reasonable. And
Okay.
that's what Chris
And then you can always
Campbell
get an
recommended.
extension?
Right, he can always have, we have the ability to do that.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have motion and second to, for permission to advertise. Any other discussion, questions?
One question is, does 2 weeks for a pod, does that coincide? I brought this up and I'd talked to Chris about this for quite a while. Does that coincide with the lease agreement is for a pod? Are they going to make them like rent it for a month and then they can only have it for 2 weeks?
That's not our concern, but I don't know.
Okay.
All
Get
right.
their money back. And also, I like the name of this Firearms Act, the Joe Carlucci Uniform Fires Act.
You're not
I
the
think
first.
give it to Chicago or something, you know what I mean? Hey, Joey.
What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Forget about it.
Why don't we, to answer that question, at the first reading, if we could get, Chris, if you could get us some information on what the usual is, and if we need to change that length of time, that would be great. Okay?
Thank you, Mayor.
Good, thank you very much. Is everybody done? We're ready to vote? Roll call.
Mayor Nelson.
Aye.
Councilman Simmons.
Aye.
Councilwoman Simons.
Aye.
Councilman Longcor.
No.
Councilman McIntosh.
Aye.
Councilwoman Martin.
Aye.
Councilman Slakta.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. What next? Item C?
Item C, this is a standard requirement when we use outside counsel. Occasionally, they have a member of their firm working on other matters. Mr. Jones is not doing anything for the city of Bonita Springs currently, but Beverly Grady, along with Robert Pritt, are assisting me with the development order application, along with looking at the proposed ordinances for the homeless shelter, and soon, hopefully, an ordinance for Chapter 4 amendments dealing with how to deal with social services. Mr. Jones will not be working at all on anything of the city matter, but it is a situation where a law firm that's representing us will be also suing us.
Make
So-
a motion to
or
authorize a
actually
waiver.
defending a lawsuit.
We have a motion to approve the waiver. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Simmons.
Aye.
Councilwoman Simons.
Aye.
Councilman Longcor.
Aye.
Councilman McIntosh.
Aye.
Councilwoman Martin.
Aye.
Councilman Slakta.
Aye.
Mayor Nelson.
Aye. Okay, Audrey, you have anything else for us?
No, sir, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well done. City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The first item is an agreement with the YMCA, the new management there, and I'd like for Director Perino to come up and discuss that issue with you.
Hello. I have worked with the YMCA to put together an agreement of an outsourcing of the soccer coordinator position. It is something that we were trying for a year at least to hire someone for that position part-time. We only had 4 people apply throughout that entire year, and 2 of them were not qualified. So we decided, since the YMCA reopened, they do have a full-time program director that works on their sports facilities, for sports programming, that I worked with the COO of the YMCA to put this together. The big change we did in the past, we did have an agreement with the YMCA that it was a shared employee agreement. It is a YMCA employee, but they did run our soccer programs. In the past, the city paid 75% of that person's salary. This agreement, we only pay 25% of that person's salary. So we did make a big change in the how much we pay for that person. It is the same amount that we were going to pay someone part-time, whereas this person is on-site full-time, but we're getting the benefit of paying the part-time cost. So I think it's a win-win for both of us, with both groups partnering together and working on this. I've actually met with them today again to go over with, they have hired this new full-time person already, but I was in on that hiring process. They were hiring that person whether we did this agreement or not. But I was in on the interviewing as well as the application process with the YMCA.
Okay, council, question?
No,
Yes.
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve this, and I want to say thank you, shout out to the Y for being a great community partner.
Okay,
Yes,
we have,
absolutely.
we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Have a
Martin.
second? Take your pick, Deb.
Can I comment, Mary, real
Yes,
quick?
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, this is a good idea. In the past, you know, when we tried this out, my experience, because we went through several, was that one of them, we had a really great one, and that just stunk that she's gone, but now you know what I'm talking about. It seemed that the one of the soccer coordinators, and I know we have a different partner now, so we have a very responsive and responsible and wonderful partner in the community, maybe different now, and I'm hoping for that, because in the past, the person seemed to work for the YMCA and kind of forget what their soccer coordinator job was, if you know what I mean. And they were in the office a lot instead of maintaining and monitoring the field. So I look forward to making this work, and win-win. Good idea.
Okay, any other comments?
Question.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
In regards to the 50% reduction of our responsibility, what does that amount to, Carl, roughly, for a year savings?
12,000.
They didn't pay this person, the old YMCA paid this person a little differently, and they had a different job title. My guess off the top of my head, it's probably somewhere around $20,000.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, any other questions, comments? Roll call, please.
11,000.
Councilwoman Simons.
Aye.
Councilman Longcart.
Aye.
Councilman McIntosh.
Aye.
Councilwoman Martin.
Aye.
Councilman Slakta.
Aye.
Mayor Nelson.
Aye.
Councilman Simmons.
Aye. All right, Carl, what else you got for us?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The next item is kind of our phase 2 of a renegotiated contract with CH2M Hill. This is the 4th amendment to the agreement. As you'll recall, earlier this year, we were able to reduce the fee on the planning and zoning side of their contract by $200,000 to a new amount of $1.3 million. And again, that was for the planning and zoning. It's the soft side of their services, as I call them, planning and zoning side. There's more of a nuts and bolts side as well, the other part of their services.
Are you sure John Domer isn't the nuts and bolts side?
Well, at least maybe half of those, but
Half that. Okay, you guys practice
He
that.
would be the half
You
then,
practice
okay.
that.
Dun-dun-dun. Okay, great.
Sorry.
This is the building permitting side, the permitting intake, the administration of those permits, plan reviews, permit issuance, and inspections. And all of that is kind of what I call the hard side of the department. And we still needed to renegotiate portions of that contract. I will tell you that I want to thank CH2M Hill. These discussions were always professional and cordial. As much as we think CH2M Hill is a part of our family, because we deal with their employees each and every day and they get treated like any other department of the city, it is a business arrangement between the city and CH2M Hill. And so there's sometimes when we get into these discussions that they can be uncomfortable for folks. But I will tell you that the discussions were always amicable, and people from the various highest levels of their corporation were made available in order to finally make this deal work. Basically, on the building side, what used to happen, or what is happening now, is that CH2M Hill collects and keeps all the fees that are generated, the building fees. Now, when I say they keep the fees, it means that those fees still, it's a special revenue source, so they still have to be spent on state-allowed functions with regards to building, permitting, inspections, okay? It's not like they can go off and do anything else with those funds. But the city was not in control of those funds, CH2M Hill was. And then they would pay for their expenses out of those fees and then keep the balance or the surplus of the fees. Under the new agreement, we are going to pay them a fixed amount of money for their services, and we are going to get all of the fees. And so that the city has control of the surplus of fees, and we're going to pay them a certain amount of money for their services in the permitting area, and that will be $1.1 million and change. Now, also because we had hoped, and some of you will recall this, when we brought the first amendment through, or the first time around with the $200,000 saving on the soft side of the function, we were going to try to get back to you with this next negotiation in April. That clearly didn't happen. But what we have done with CH2M Hill and said, look, we could have seen a certain amount of surplus in funds between April and now, because it just took too long to try to negotiate this version of the contract. And we have negotiated with them that they're going to give us a one-time credit in recognition of that fact of $49,200. And so, again, that will be a savings on the fee side of that. We did allow for them to keep a certain amount of money above the $49,200 in recognition of the fact that they've just gone through a software conversion over there in order to work more cooperatively and in sync with our code enforcement and some of our other departments in the city. So in addition to that, we're also going to have more control over the cost escalator in the contract. Under the prior contract, there was a minimum increase that they could take each year should they choose to do so. They've been a very responsible partner and have not done that in the few years past. However, that minimum increase now is gone. So there's no minimum guaranteed increase each year, and we think that's good for the city. And the other thing is that's really important, I think, is that because service is what we sell to our customers each and every day, and we want them to come and have a good experience when they deal with the city of Bonita Springs, when they're going into business, when they're going to build something, when they're renovating their homes or renovating their businesses. We now have, under this proposed agreement, a rather lengthy list of performance measures, things that we can measure their performance on and against, and that we can, if we run into problems in certain areas, we can take corrective action together in order to keep our service level high to all of our customers who come through community development. This agreement has been a long time in coming. I will tell you, I think it's in the best interest of the city to adopt this, and we so recommend.
Okay, thank you very much, Carl. Council, you have any questions for Carl on this matter?
I have a comment, of course.
Yeah, go right ahead.
I want to congratulate you, Carl. When this originally came to our city to hire CH2M Hill, I voted against you. It wasn't you personally. We have incredible employees over there. Well, they're not our employees, but we have incredible partners over there too. One of my reasons I didn't vote for it was because of the building permit and because they had proprietary information. We couldn't see what was going on, and it made me feel very itchy. I use that word again, about state statute and building permit fees that, as I understand, Audrey, I might be incorrect, you can only collect as much as a fee to cover the cost. And so my question to you, I think this is good. My question to you is, now we'll be able to see how much we collect with that overage, if there's any. What do we have to do, number one, what do we have to do with that money? And number two, this will give us an opportunity to see how much they collect in fees. So for the public's edification and benefit, we could possibly reduce what I consider some of these fees, no offense, guys, some of these fees to be a little pricey. If we want to be economically, develop economic development and be friendly to both business but also our residents, I'd like to see the reduction of some of these fees.
Okay, in response to your question, first off, they have provided us an accounting of the amount of fees they collect in the past.
Yes.
Okay, we just not had any control over it. The surplus is allowed as you go along, but you can't use it for anything than other state-allowed functions with building and permitting.
Right.
But as you build reserves, if you will, as you build the surplus, you are expected to plow it back into the business, if you will. So that's where they were able to pay for software upgrades, those kinds of things. All right. Now, yes, if the council wanted to look at a reduction in certain fees, we could have done that all along. We can certainly do it now. The risk is certainly shifted from CH2M Hill to us, but in terms of risk, I think this is a great time to take it on, only because the risk is minimal, if at all, only because we're on an upswing economically. And so we're in pretty good shape. So in terms of, yes, it would certainly be within the council's purview to look at those fees and make changes in those. And again, that would be a reduction on the revenue side, which would now be on our side.
Well, again, I have to congratulate all of you because this is a very good idea. Well done. I think Lisa probably had a part in this too.
Well,
she's pretty darn smart.
I was going to say that Lisa Pace, Arlene Hunter, and of course Audrey were all intimately involved in this entire process, and I thank them for their efforts as well. And yes, Lisa was the one pounding away on a few of these issues, but that's okay. That's why we love her.
You can tell because it's a very smart thing. And okay, one of these things I want to waive. I want to waive a fee, and that is the fee for the veterans of foreign wars and the American Legion's tent setups, because we could never do that before. We had no control over it, and I'd love to set up doing that for them. Consider that at the Veterans Committee,
Well,
sir.
yeah,
Hold on. I got this.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We got a motion and a second on the floor. Yes, go ahead.
May I, Carl, I appreciate CH2's work, and I appreciate your work on the negotiations. I'm pretty uncomfortable with, I recognize no minimum on the CPI index increase. I'm uncomfortable there's no maximum, because I think what we've got with debt in this country right now and the way we're headed is going to increase inflation opportunities immensely and quickly. So if there's an opportunity to put a max on the CPI per year, I'd be much more comfortable.
Okay. Well, first off, any change in that is going to have to come to you anyway. You have total control over that under this contract. So in other words, if they want to make, first off, there's no minimum, but any change they want to make in terms of the contract number itself, they have to get approval by the council.
Well, I'm not clear on that then, because it talks about a fee escalator clause where there was a minimum increase previously. It's not there now, but then it talks about a formula that's pretty clearly cut as to what they can get without a maximum.
Yeah, but Audrey, my understanding is it takes council approval.
That's correct. I mean, every year you will be looking at the numbers, but you're right. When we took out the floor, we also took out the ceiling. There was a range.
Yeah,
and that was removed.
It's just a principle that I'm uncomfortable with. When we have an automatic escalator of some sort, even though it has to come to council, I think it ought to be clear that we have some sort of protection that if inflation goes back to where it was in the 80s, where it was double digits, 17, 18%, I don't want to saddle anybody else on this dais with that.
Right, understood.
Councilman, I understand your concerns, and what the reason why that calculation is even included in the contract is a starting point for discussion. That may or may not pass the level where we discuss this with your staff to even make it to you. Things may be changed, there may be a reason why a different amount needs to be proposed. There is no guarantee of any increase. There is no automatic adjustments. Anything that changes has got to go through your staff and then will be presented to you. That simply gives a starting calculation as to what could be expected. You're exactly right. If inflation goes incredibly higher, we start talking about numbers that are not realistic. And to date, I've not even looked for annual increases that were in there. And if they continue, if we have a situation where increases based on that calculation would be even higher, and there's no justification or reason for us to take that increase, I couldn't even propose it. I understand your concern. And if there's another way to phrase what needs to be in there, I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but it's there simply as a placeholder and a place to start a discussion.
Yeah, I'm not going to negotiate the contract. That's not my job, and I understand that. But if I didn't make my concerns known, I wouldn't be doing my job.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. Good. Any other questions for John while he's standing up here?
And there's no, in the past, Mayor, Mayor May.
Go ahead.
Thank you. In the past, with his question, we signed a 5-year contract originally when we partnered with CH2M Hill. And there was always this kind of threat. No offense. It was, uh-oh, if you break the contract, you're going to have to buy them out. And so now we're going on a year-to-year contract, as I understand now.
No, it's still the same contract. The amount you pay is negotiated annually. We still have a contract. This is just an amendment to the contract. We did not attach the entire contract. The contract still has transition terms so that if we need to buy them out, say we want to keep Mr. Dolmer, as just a suggestion, whether you do or not, that's your
as crazy as that
hypothetical. Should you desire to do so,
Crazy
there's a
talk.
transition of how much you would need to pay, how much for software, whatever the company has in it.
Well, that's transition, but at the end of the, from year to year, the amount decreased along with the contract of if we wanted to sever the contract,
It's still
okay?
the same.
Well, actually,
No, it decreases
it was
from year to
changed
year.
the first time around.
Okay, and in 5 years, that was supposed to be like going away, is my understanding. Now, we're getting near the 5-year period, 2000, yep.
We amended that.
Okay,
not this
do we
amendment,
have a buyout clause and instead of just transition clause? Thank you. There's a difference, right?
There is a difference,
Thank you.
and no, there isn't. It has got that cost was kind of itemized or worked through 5 years, and every year it reduced. When the 2 years were extended on to the end of the contract, there was that cost was not extended to either of those years, and it was actually reduced for this year. So as part of it, what was originally in the contract is less, and once the original contract term is up, there is no carryover into the following 2 years.
Okay, so if you come back to council in the future and this negotiation can't be worked out, and we say, that doesn't work for us, then we're going to have to pay you something and you go away because, you know what I'm saying? What is the amount of that?
Mr. Mayor, if
Go
I
right
might-
ahead.
I don't want that to happen.
I
Right
think,
ahead,
first
Carl.
off, we are not prepared to answer that question here right now. What I'd like to do is get you that information so that you will have it. But we severely restricted that when we came back earlier this year. we severely restricted what we would have to pay them. So the city was in much better position after that first amendment earlier this year. But I don't want to go up here and guess what that number is. We'll get that information to you. That's all right.
So we're close. But I mean, we work together. You guys want to stay here. We want to use you. We're close, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be something outrageous, and right?
But that wasn't changed in this amendment.
Right.
No, that's not changed in this
Okay.
amendment.
Thank you.
It was changed last time around.
All right. All right.
On the ceiling, we removed the ceiling, and Mr. McIntosh is asking about in place the ceiling, and I heard the word negotiate this.
Right, but
We were gonna
I was just saying
negotiate
that
some-
there's two different things there, his ceiling
Yes,
and
yes.
this. So the thing you were talking about,
Well, one is leverage. It's leverage to keep the ceiling, to place that in the agreement.
well, let me talk about the ceiling for a second. I think that, the no floor, no ceiling thing, well, that's fair enough. You have to come, if you want more money, when we come back to renegotiate, you have to come ask for it,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
And so we either say yes or no. So to place an upper limit on that seems to be unfair, because that would place a burden on you to not be able to ask for something that's fair, that may be fair if there's a ceiling. It's just arbitrary. We're going to pick a place, someplace up here.
Yes, sir.
And this way, it allows you to apply for something that's either right or wrong, and we have the ability to say no, right?
That's exactly right. And we're really not that far away from starting this process again. And if something you would like to do, we can begin discussing that for next year in terms of what would be included if an escalation was requested.
Right, since it's going year to year, yeah.
Well, the contract still it goes on for 3 more years, but each year this compensation portion of it is discussed and reviewed.
Exactly.
And it is my favorite council meeting of the year.
Is it really? That's odd.
Smiling too much. I don't like that.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
Counsel?
Council, we got, yes, go ahead.
If I may, I'm in clause 12.4 of the amendments that you did. So for year 12 to 1213, the compensate for termination and demobilization is 100,000. The next year it goes down to 50,000, and the next year down to 25,000.
Thank you.
Bingo. Okay, good.
Not killer.
Well done. Well done there, bookworm. All right, any other questions? We have a motion and a second on the floor? Yes, we don't.
I'll make a motion.
Caught me again, didn't
I'll
you?
make a motion.
Good girl.
Talk, who made her clerk anyway? Oh, well, I did, that's right. I was one of the ones.
I'll make a motion.
Would you make a motion?
I will.
I'll second.
And there's a second. Any other discussion? I thought not. Roll call.
Councilman Longcart?
Aye.
Councilman McIntosh?
Aye.
Councilwoman Martin?
Aye.
Councilman Slakta?
Aye.
Mayor Nelson?
Aye.
Councilman Simmons?
Aye.
Councilwoman Simons?
Aye.
Well, there you have it. All right, Carl, next. Oh,
Next item is fairly self-explanatory. You have 7 members on the Historic Preservation Board on rotating terms. 3 of those members have terms that are expiring this month, and 2 out of the 3 have indicated a willingness to serve again. Charlie Strader, who is currently the chairman, has indicated he doesn't want to serve as a formal member of the board, but will continue to be involved as a member of the interested public. So what we're asking tonight for is a vote to reappoint 2 of the members, to advertise for the vacancy, and then since Charlie had been operating as a chair, the mayor is asked to rename a new chair.
okay. What are the name of the 2 members that were supposed?
Alan Glazier and Terry Schmidt.
Okay. Is there a motion to do so?
I'll motion.
Motion to do so. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion a second to reappoint those. Roll call, please.
Councilman McIntosh?
Aye.
Councilwoman Martin?
Aye.
Councilman Slakta?
Aye.
Mayor Nelson?
Aye.
Councilman Simmons?
Aye.
Councilwoman Simons? Councilman Longcart?
Aye.
Okay, and I would like to go ahead and nominate Terry Schmidt to be the chairman of
I'll
that board. And there's a second. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Councilwoman Martin?
Aye.
Councilman Slakta?
Aye.
Mayor Nelson?
Aye.
Councilman Simmons?
Aye.
Councilwoman Simons?
Aye.
Councilman Longcart?
Aye.
Councilman McIntosh?
Aye.
Good. Councilman Martin.
Can I just take a moment to thank Charlie Strader for his service to the community? He has, his historical knowledge has just been invaluable, and his passion for the historic resources of our city is amazing. So I just want to thank him for all that he has done, and I think we all think that too. So thank you, Charlie.
Yep, Charlie, wherever you are. Be nice if we could give him a little something.
We're working on it.
Okay, good. Thought you might be. All right, what else you got, Carl?
And then the last thing for Nicole is a discussion of the futsal leagues and the agreement that's been worked out between the leagues. Nicole?
I have met with both groups. We've worked out an agreement where they both can have usage of the community park pavilion the exact same amount of time. One is Tuesday, Thursday, the other's Wednesday, Friday, and then they rotate Mondays. Both groups are happy with it, and they have already both agreed. I have insurance for both. Both have all of their paperwork in now, so it's just a matter of you improving both contracts.
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Slakta.
Aye.
Mayor Nelson.
Aye.
Councilman Simmons.
Aye.
Councilwoman Simons.
Aye.
Councilman Longcart.
Aye.
Councilman McIntosh.
Aye.
Councilwoman Martin.
Aye.
Got anything else for us, Carl?
Yes, sir. Just a couple of more items. First off, the results from last night's election. Clearly, the slots were approved by 63% of the voters in Lee County. So I will tell you that we've already been in touch with Mr. Havenek, as well as Carol Green, to clarify the next steps. We're going to have a meeting coming up here in the next few days to do that, because the next steps are at the legislative level, and we want to make sure we're ready to go and we clearly understand the issues so we can be laser focused on those. So that's the next steps, and we're already in line to work those through. The next thing I wanted to talk about from last night were the amendments that did pass. And those were 3 amendments, amendment number 2, 9, and 11. They all dealt with some type of tax exemption or homestead exemption for a variety of different people, mostly military and first responder connected. And I just want to let you know that we really do not know and cannot calculate what the fiscal impact of that might be. It's going to be basically determined by the number of people in our community who might be eligible, who actually end up applying and then actually receive the exemptions themselves. So we don't anticipate that it will hit us too hard financially, but we just want to let you know we've already thought about that today, and there's probably really no answer to the question of how much it will cost. We'll see how it goes, but we don't anticipate it's going to be major. And then the last thing I have tonight is just a reminder that we will be closed on Monday for Veterans Day, and that on Tuesday when we come back, we're going to walk right into a workshop with you on Old 41 downtown area, as well as some economic development decisions that we're going to be asking you to make that day, or at least give us direction on. So we look forward to that, and that's at 9 a.m. on Tuesday here in council chambers. Thank you, Mayor. That's all I have.
Okay, very good. Now we're going to go to discussion of the Florida League of Cities issues regarding legislation. Councilman.
Right. I had, at our last meeting in October, had forwarded 3 issues and had passed them along for input, and want to kind of, I guess, further that discussion here. Carl, you had made a few comments, and do you want to walk through those? Do you want me to read those? How would you like to? Yeah, okay, okay. Certainly here with the foreclosures, and I just want to refresh everybody's memory there. The Florida Attorney General was part of a joint state and federal national settlement agreement that calls for $8.4 billion in foreclosure relief for Florida homeowners who experience foreclosure abuses and unacceptable servicing practices. And Carl's comment on that, as I scroll here, bear with me, is this funding opportunity sounds great, and SHIP or something like it as an existing structured program would be appropriate. In the case of Bonita Springs, this type of program is handled by the county. Any further thoughts or input there?
No, I think basically it would be my recommendation that we be in favor of this particular proposal. But again, it would have to be administered by the county as it typically is, because we would not have the resources to administer it.
Okay. Okay, and then I guess just
Yep.
Discussion by, or head nods, or what do we think?
Yeah, I think that those economic issues we'll probably get to deal with during our workshop. That would be a great time then, Pete, for you to bring them up.
Okay.
That'd be pretty cool. Would that be all right with council?
Yes, sir.
All right?
Okay.
Good.
Great. And then the economic development, small business incentives. Carl had said there that, obviously great and appropriate for the approach that we will be advocating at the workshop on 13th, so that'll be great. And then the NIDS, the Neighborhood Improvement Districts, what we had discussed in October was, they're special districts in a residential and commercial settings and adoption of ordinances. And Carl, can you actually talk through that a little bit?
About a neighborhood improvement district?
Well, yeah, and what we think they want to do here.
Right. A neighborhood improvement district is where, and just weigh in anytime you want, Audrey, if I get off track here, but basically it's where a group of citizens, a neighborhood, if you will, gets together and they decide to basically tax themselves at a higher level than the general government would do in order to create funding for improvements in their particular neighborhood, okay, above and beyond what the city would normally offer or provide. Typically, these will be for capital expenditures, and then, of course, you have to worry about maintenance, but that's all handled and managed by that neighborhood improvement district. What is being asked for here, as I understand it, is a proposal to provide legislation that would grant the neighborhood improvement districts the authority to enter into debt bonding. All right. My comment was, I have no objection to them having that authority, but I would believe for the protection of those residents involved in the neighborhood improvement district, as well as the city, that the governing board would, like the city council, would have to approve that bonding, and that just provides an extra set of eyes. It ensures that the individuals involved in the neighborhood improvement district management are not getting in out of over their heads. So it's a protection for them, it's a protection for the city, and provides an extra set of eyes on behalf of the residents as well. So, and I think it's just kind of a safety issue for me.
Okay. But Peter, it'd be another venue for something we could suggest for when when neighborhoods come to us and they have some problems or some issues that they want to take care of. It's just another mechanism for us to suggest that they can help themselves. Is that correct?
Right.
All right. Good.
But I understand, Mayor, that these are in your committee, that these are being discussed. There's some proposed legislation being discussed about them other than just the neighborhood improvement district, because I've talked to Councilwoman Heitman from Naples about these, and she's very hot on neighborhood improvement districts, except that they have to be attached to the valuation of the properties that are within the certain area, even though they want to improve, which the value will go up if they do. You know, there's some calculations that need to be made there, so.
Are we going to talk about this at the workshop? I mean, because I have a couple questions, but I can wait.
About the economic
Yeah,
issue?
about the NIDS and so on.
Yeah, you can. If,
No, I mean, if we're gonna bring these up at the workshop, that's fine. That's a better place for it.
Yeah. I guess we could bring that up because it's kind of similar to a CRA, but it's not. Yeah. Go ahead. Audrey.
Okay, and let me just go in. It's right next to the CRA chapter.
Yeah.
It's very similar, except instead of the improvement going towards blight, it's going for crime prevention. And then the benefit for the neighborhood improvement district is you have the ability to ask for grants from legal affairs from the state. So there's different funding sources available and a different focus than what you have for a CRA, but it is a funding mechanism, which means it is a tax increment financing as well as other methodology that does have an effect on your city dollars too, as far as setting it up.
Man,
Yes.
when I read his green sheet, maybe I can assist here, if that's okay with the
Absolutely,
councilman.
sure.
What we do in each of these committees is we choose 2 mission statements or policy statements about legislation that we want to see passed or advocate for from our committee. And then next week, we will have our annual legislative policy kind of like convention for 2 days, and we'll be voting to accept. Our committees have already established on day one, by day one after all these meetings we've gone to, what those 2 policies are that we want to forward, or those 2 legislative actions. And sometimes they're really so broad you don't get anything. To forward to like the overall Florida League of Cities body that does this, and then they accept those from the committee, and then they adopt them or not adopt them to be what they're going to pursue for lobbying for the next year. So I'm not sure if the council member here is asking for us to say, well, is the foreclosure something that our city feels strongly about, that we want the Florida League of Cities to have in their legislative lobbying effort this year, or certainly economic development, I would think, is these neighborhood improvement districts? Is that something we want our city to recommend to the full legislative body of the Florida League of Cities? Did I get that right?
Yeah, you got it right. I'm just
Okay, buddy.
looking to see what the will and the pleasure of the city council here is and the staff.
Council, and Peter, I think that basically, I think that it's good that you bring this up to council and to let us know what you're doing on there, and I think that on these kind of matters that we're going to have to trust you and Martha's advice at the time, because it stays pretty fluid. So we're going to have to depend on you to make those decisions at the League of Cities as they come up there for the most part. But I think we really do appreciate you keeping us abreast of what you're hearing about and what you're talking about.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, and Peter, I would just say for me, the 2 and 3 are really probably what's going to come forward out of your committee, from what I hear on the ground. So I'm all behind that. That economic development and neighborhood improvement, who wouldn't like that?
Good. Right.
Okay?
Good. Peter, do you have anything else for us today?
Want to mention that Riverfest, another success there, obviously, and just a minor suggestion for the non-mullet lovers out there that maybe there's macaroni for the children or hot dogs or something. But anyway, just a minor suggestion. Obviously, a reminder: this Friday at the YMCA is the Hawaiian Luau. I'd like to once again commend Jackson and Bonar, I guess, who is friends with Aiden Petrowski, that other young gentleman that was here, that is friends with my son. So they all actually do know each other, and he is a dynamite kid. He really is, and that is just absolutely fabulous. And obviously, the Haveneck family for, I guess, congratulations and the next steps.
Good,
That's
thank
it.
you. And
Thanks.
officially, I have here, I just Googled it, there is 4.5 million non-mullet loving people. In
Bonita
Springs.
That came to Riverfest.
So anyway.
And it doesn't have to be mac and cheese and hot dogs, but I'm just saying maybe another option.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to item B, discussion of the governor's appointment. Yes.
Thank you, Council and Mayor. Ms. Barbara Barnes Buchanan let me know that she was submitting an application, and at the same time, former Mayor Paul Pass, it was brought up at the Southwest Florida Regional Planning Council as your liaison by one of the members from Collier County that we need to look at this appointment because Mr. Pass's work schedule precluded him from being able to attend meetings, and we really need to have active partners there. So I grabbed the opportunity. He was like, well, we need to recommend somebody. I said, Mayor Paul Pass, former Mayor Paul Pass. Well, that's Bonita Springs. So why don't we let Bonita Springs bring somebody to you, recommend. And then at the same time, Barbara was putting this application in. I thought, perfect. The universe is friendly. So in the past, like I remember Mr. Joe Mazurkowitz, who we are all very fond of here in the city government affairs, the chamber, former mayor of Cape Coral. He had submitted an application and was seeking our support for his appointment. If you see what her application is, she has an incredible set of skills that are perfect as a planner, as a certified airport authority, a certified airport executive. You don't find too many of those. She's got an interesting resume from zoning and planning and real estate, and it just looks like somebody who would be uniquely qualified to serve on the Planning Council as a planner, and somebody who knows Bonita Springs issues very well and is very in love with our city, and somebody who wants to serve this city. So this would be regional, and she also knows the regional partners, Urban Land Institute, da-da-da-da-da. Go down the list. But I would like to see if the council would be interested in sending a letter of support to Governor Rick Scott so that we have a party who's uniquely qualified, who loves our city, and are part of the county to serve on the Regional Planning Council.
Yeah, and Council, Mayor Pass had given me a call there before this was green sheeted and told me about this, and which I appreciated. And he had made the suggestion that we may want to gather some names together and ask some of the people in the community, and for council to consider this. So, I thank the councilwoman for bringing it up. I would rather, this is my own personal opinion, I would rather kind of gather up and be sure that we haven't missed anybody out there who is willing to serve in this regard, and give council a chance and to even suggest even one of its own members if you would want to.
Well, that would be two of us on there then.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, I kind of wanted to open it up to that conversation of whether or not we want to go ahead and take this into consideration and make that appointment at the next meeting. It may well be Barbara or whatever. But council, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, okay, sorry. You heard mine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mayor, I remember the first public comment when Christina from the chamber spoke about maybe see if there are other candidates. I have nothing against Barbara Buchanan. It's just the idea that I think, if we have to vote on this tonight, I think we haven't opened it up for other people to apply. So I'd like to wait and see if there are other candidates in the community that might be interested.
All right, council, anybody else want to chime in?
Well,
let me see if anybody else from council wants to chime in first, then I'll go ahead. Anybody else like to chime in?
I think that's a good idea.
All right.
No bad will, against Barbara's application. I'm glad that she's done that, but I think that I've heard a couple other people say, well, I didn't know about it, so I would like to give someone else an opportunity.
All right, and then
just to see.
All right, and anybody else? Yeah, Bill.
Just for a couple of weeks, right? Then we come right back.
Yeah. Very next meeting.
Okay. Well, I think we can do that.
All right.
Is that okay, Martha?
I doubt you're going to find anybody with that level of qualifications in our community. However, I do want to remind you that when Mr. Mazurkowitz came to this council seeking a letter of support, we didn't ask to open it up for that. So I was just trying to follow the same policies we followed in the past, and would hope if it hits her desk and there's somebody from northern Lee County who applies, we're going to miss the opportunity to have somebody represent who knows Bonita Springs and could represent us well, because basically there are 2 seats from Lee County that can be represented. I kind of thought Collier County was trying to grab it, so I just said, ooh, better rein that in. Now, I was going to bring back at the next meeting a recommendation, because I was trying to hold them off. So we might be putting ourselves in a kind of difficult position.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
And what would your motion be?
The motion is what was asked on the green sheet. That was to ask for a letter of support to Governor Rick Scott and his Office of Appointments to support her application.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second to it?
I will second that.
There's a motion and a second to appoint or to send a letter recommendation to support Ms. Buchanan. Again, I'm going to vote against this motion personally, and it's nothing to do with Ms. Buchanan. I just wanted to be sure and open it up to some more people. And with that, is there any other discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I think that we talk about transparency and public opinion and getting public input, and I don't want to rush into something. It's not Barbara, because I do think she has those kinds of credentials, but I don't want to rush into something if we haven't really given the public an opportunity. So.
Okay.
Done it before.
Yep.
Well.
Any other discussion before we vote? Roll call, please.
Councilman McIntosh?
Nope.
Councilwoman Martin?
No.
Councilman Slakta?
No.
Mayor Nelson?
No.
Councilman Simmons?
Aye.
Councilwoman Simons?
Aye.
Councilman Lockhart?
Aye.
Okay, the motion does not carry. Is there a motion to go ahead and gather other applicants? Give the time?
I'll make the motion that we, at next date certain council meeting, that we have brought forward any other candidates for this position.
We're gonna lose.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. There's a motion and a second to bring this forward at the very next meeting. And Carl, you will be gathering the candidates' information?
If that's council's desire, sure.
If there are any.
Yes.
Okay?
Sure.
All right, good. Any other discussion?
Well, there are many vacancies open throughout the county, throughout the state, and I get a copy of those all the time, and the public is can be well aware of those vacancies. So this is just another example of that we have to anyhow. Okay, fine. I'll come back every council meeting and tell you all the vacancies that are available, so we can put that off for another week and reconsider it.
That's a deal.
Okay,
Thank you for
thanks.
taking it so well. Roll call, please.
You're welcome.
Councilwoman Martin?
Aye.
Councilman Slakta?
Aye.
Mayor Nelson?
Aye.
Councilman Simmons?
Aye.
Councilwoman Simons?
Aye.
Councilman Lockhart?
Aye.
Councilman McIntosh?
Aye.
Councilwoman, do you have anything else for us?
I do. Thank you very much.
Can I just ask, I'm sorry, real quick.
Go ahead.
Just, I guess as a public service announcement here for anybody out there that might be considering, how would we streamline these applications or information?
Well, you can call the various agencies, county commission. The county commission has lots of vacancies for all sorts of committees on the county. And you can look at the state governor's office appointment. There are many vacancies for his offices of appointment that citizens might be interested to go on the internet and look at his office for that. There's lots of stuff out there that we could have citizens involved in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
For asking.
Where was I? Oh, yes.
Okay.
Councilwoman.
Yes. Colleagues, you'll see in public, if you have a packet, you will see that the Vice Mayor of Sanibel, who's been kind of a leader on this issue, along with the city of Bonita Springs, Fort Myers Beach, and our surrounding neighbors, on the use of fertilizer. We've all passed ordinances. We ask our applicators to get educated on how to use fertilizer, and they're all doing it, and they're all being very proactive and wonderful in that regard. Now, they are proposing to create a citizen education program, which is kind of the second step of the strategy, to educate, sort of like water conservation. We all know, turn the faucets off and that kind of thing to conserve water. This one is about the proper use of fertilizer so that we can minimize the cost for cleaning up the waters that will be mandated to clean up with the TMDL program. So, I had our good city manager send you an email this afternoon. I don't know if you saw it, but Sanibel will be putting out $150,000 for this effort. The county said they will match. And so they're asking everybody to put a little skin in the game to participate. The Waterways Conservation Fund has $11,000, almost $12,000 in it that we raised through Riverfest over the last 6 years. This is none of the money from this year's event. To use $5,000 for this effort and to contribute. Cape Coral, Fort Myers Beach is going to be joining. Naples is in the picture, and it'd be an excellent opportunity to teach people how to properly use that. So,
okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Yes, Councilwoman Martin.
I'll absolutely support Martha's request for this because she has worked very hard and tirelessly for our city with the fertilizer for years.
Yep.
So, and also with how hard that she worked on the past River Fests and earned that money by working so hard. So this puts it to really good use. So absolutely support this.
So that was a motion and a second, was it?
There you go.
I hear that a motion.
Yeah, okay, that was a motion and a second. All right, and Martha, just a question. I mean,
Yes.
who do we write to check to? Who does it go to? And disbursement of the funds? What happens?
Awesome.
Let us know.
Right. So I'm glad you asked that, because if you'll notice on the green sheet, I'm only asking for this conceptually until the end of the week. The disbursement may be to Sanibel, who will be the receiver of the funds. We're working through this, so I will not have us release any money until we know all the details. This is just so that we can have the other partners, particularly the county, okay?
So you want to make the motion to
Conceptually
conceptually
approve-
approve $5,000?
Right.
Yes,
I was
and then
like-
you're giving us authority to issue that check once we get the details.
Okay.
Yes.
And you will come back and tell us, okay, here's what's going on, blah, 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 and we issue a check and,
Well,
Absolutely.
Do you want us to come back and ask you permission to
well,
issue the check?
tell us what you did.
Oh, yeah. We'll be happy to do that. Absolutely.
Okay. Is that okay?
That's awesome.
Good?
That's exactly what I was asking for.
Okay,
Thanks.
good, very good. Roll call, please.
Councilman Slakta?
Aye.
Mayor Nelson?
Aye.
Councilman Simmons?
Aye.
Councilwoman Simons?
Hi, thank you.
Councilman Lockhart?
Aye.
Councilman McIntosh?
Aye.
Councilwoman Martin?
Aye.
Okay. Do you have anything else, Martha?
I do, and real quickly, I want to thank the voters of Bonita Springs for behaving so ladylike and gentlemanly yesterday. I was at a couple of polling places trying to assist voters. It was mass pandemonium, and people were pretty angry. I worked at one place where consistently it was a 3-hour wait. There is no reason why in the wealthiest country in the world, with the best technology, with the best laws about freedom and voting, that we had that kind of fiasco. I'll tell you what happened, if I could really quick. We reduced our precincts from 171 to like 125, I think it is. You've got more people voting in less places. We had less days to early vote. You have a growing population. What do you think is going to happen? You had less machines out there. It was crazy, and I hope we can get that corrected, because that was just wrong. It wasn't because there were 4 pages of ballots into scanners. Anyhow, I had so many lovely people who just stayed in line because they felt it was their civic duty, whichever way they were voting, although I'm happy about the outcome. But Amendment 4 went down, Mayor.
Ah, good.
Okay, we've been talking about Amendment 4, and that's very good for our city, okay? And we've been talking about that for the last few months. So, anyhow, thank you, voters of Bonita Springs. You made us proud. Okay, number 2. Okay, I talked to somebody, the Agency on Bay Management, and they proposed that if we wrote a letter to Dr. Jim Beaver, he would be able to get a grant for us, similar to what Punta Gorda did for an adaptation plan for sea level rise, for a land use planning for the next 50 years or whatever. As we see, and this will segue into my last thing, Mayor, as we see what happened in the East Coast with a Category 1 storm, with, just the heartbreak of what's going on, there's no doubt that climate change is a real thing. The science has proven it, okay, folks? Just get over it. It's real. And we live on a coastal region. 65% of America lives in a coastal region. Anyhow, if we simply send a letter, we can have an adaptation plan done. They'll write the grant. They can get the money. It's if the Sustainability Committee with Mr. McIntosh wants to call and investigate that, I put it in your hands, and maybe you can bring it back to Councilman McIntosh, but it's kind of like something that has to be done now. So I'm not asking for council approval, but I'm asking if Mr. McIntosh would look at that with his committee.
That's a good idea. Would you mind going and bringing that back to council for our consideration? That'd be good.
Okay, and lastly, there's going to be a nor'easter now hitting the people of who are suffering in the Northeast. New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, whoever got hit by Sandy is now going to be facing a pretty nasty storm. It's incumbent upon us as Americans to donate something to the Salvation Army in their name, or whatever help agency you feel is the most responsive for the folks up in that area. Katrina folks got a lot of help, but this can't just go away with a news cycle. It's major. Please help if you haven't already. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. Bill, what do you got for us today?
Thank you, Ben. The Library Task Force met on the 25th of October, and Chairman Brown was reelected as the chairman. And they changed a couple things. They were not happy with the 24,000 square feet. They recommending 36,000 square feet. And I'd like John to comment on what happened after they made those suggestions, and because the liaison person was here.
It was a very productive first meeting. I don't know that they actually made any formal recommendations yet, but they are at least to the point where they're questioning some of the conclusions that the county staff came to. And as a way to move forward on that, they've asked that county staff attend their next meeting, which I believe is December the 6th. We've already made those arrangements, so we're going to have folks from the county library staff and folks from the county facility staff come to their next meeting to kind of explain how they came to certain conclusions, what information they looked at, and what information still needs to be looked at.
Good. Thank you. Anything else, Bill?
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Steve, what do you got for me?
Yes, there are a couple
For us.
things. In front of you is a draft of Government Day, just to give you a heads up about how this is going to work. It's very similar to previous times. We'll start filling in student names the Monday before. We'll have all those filled in. I appreciate your help, and I know those of you who won't be here, thank you for letting me know. It'll come off well. Secondly, sorry?
Because we're not here?
Yeah, better since you're not here. Thank you. This council, before I was on council and during council, made a genuine effort to figure out how you cross county boundaries and make public transportation work. And I congratulate particularly John Spear and some other folks who worked awfully hard at that. The recent MPO meeting, they talked about Route 160, the link system, and originally they had expected to have 20,000 to 25,000 ridership on that route. In reality, they have now had 95,000 riders. So in reality, this council and the Collier County Council have in effect created an ability for people to get back and forth to work. So thank you for that effort, Mr. Mayor, and those of you who preceded me. Third, what was the Information Technology Board had its first meeting and reestablished itself as the Technical Advisory Board. We now have our full 7 members. We're in good shape. John Gucciardo has led us well, and I'm very proud of what you're going to be seeing coming forward. The congratulations to the Florida Gulf Coast University women's soccer team. They qualified for the national NCAA soccer tournament, and their first game, good luck, is against the Florida Gators, who won the SEC championship. So our hearts are all with them, and we wish them the very best in the NCAA. And finally, just to the public, it's okay to remind me that I'm an employee of the Citizens, but it's not okay to besmirch my Christianity. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Janet.
Yes, thank you. I want to echo also what Martha was saying. My thoughts and prayers go out to those in the Northeast as they go through another storm tonight. I think a lot of us here have friends and family or know someone that is affected up there. So I also urge you to do what you can to help them. I had the pleasure of addressing the Estero Newcomers Club, and that was a lot of fun, and I want to thank the ladies for the invitation to do that. Riverfest, thank you to the volunteers. We sold the most ducks ever, and I want to just show this. I want to thank the Bonita Banner, as we talk about partners, for this great coverage and for these phenomenal pictures of what happened during Riverfest and with our duckies going into the water. Little boogers didn't want to go down the river, so thank you for the mayor to step in and make an executive decision to change the direction. So we just had to be flexible and move the finish line in the other direction, but it worked and it was a lot of fun, so great for that. I just want to make a comment to thank you to staff, because I know you guys are behind this. It was quite a pleasure to open up the Florida League of Cities Municipal Achievement Award and see all of the good things that Bonita Springs is doing. Excellent. Love it. It's good stuff. And also, I just want to say congratulations to all of the local election result winners last night, and also congratulations to all the candidates. We all know how tough that is to do that. So I think it's amazing that people step up and put themselves out there. So good stuff.
Thank you very much. Steve, what do you got for us?
Again, Martha, I just want to let you know that as the Southwestern Area Commander, the American Legion at this point, and they just started, have raised $10,000 for Sandy, and so they're not. Their goal is to raise $50,000.
Well, amen.
Okay. Congratulations again as liaison to the Fire District. Congratulations to Steve Lohan on his re-election and Fred Forbes on his election to their Fire Commission positions. Again, just a friendly reminder, our good friends at Mel's Barbershop for all veterans from 8 to 2 on Saturday, November 10th, free haircuts. And don't forget our big Veterans Day at 1 p.m. at Riverside Park. It's going to unveil our monument, so please, please, I beg you all, if you can make it, be there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Council. First of all, I just want to thank our staff there. We're setting up a meeting with the Collier County DOT to go ahead and coordinate the effort for any improvements that may be going to happen here in the near future on Old 41 down into Collier County. That's becoming a road's becoming busier and busier and busier all the time. So I think I'm looking forward to that meeting and seeing what we can do with that. Also, I had the pleasure of addressing the intelligent transportation engineers, which I told them it was kind of an oxymoron, intelligent transportation. But it's a pretty exciting thing. It has to do with the signage and the electronics they're putting underneath the ground and everything like that. And I've learned a lot there, and I hope to bring back some information at our next meeting about it. It's not only about cameras and that kind of thing. There's a lot of really great things. You can only build so many roads. So someday we're going to have to do it smarter. I think that was what I brought back, actually, more than anything. It was a great week last week. I got to be a zombie. I got to be Frankenstein. I got to be a caddy. And I got to be a chef. So all in 1 week. It was a little exhausting, but all the funds went to the assistant's office. It was only marginally humiliating for part of it. But I made a damn good Frankenstein, I got to tell you. I really did. I did. But you guys knew that, right?
I don't think you were humiliated one bit. I think you enjoyed it.
I did. Also, Commissioner-elect Kiker and I've been communicating here for the last few weeks or so, and he's off on a well-deserved vacation. I think he's going to be a great asset to our community here, and he's asked me to look for some office space in Bonita Springs for him, actually, which I think is awesome. So we may have to go ahead and find something for him there. Wants to be here once or twice a week. I think that's a really good sign. It's been a long time since Bonita Springs got that kind of attention. Not that our good mayor or our good commissioner Ray Judah did a bad job, but he was a little removed from us at times. So the other thing is I've been in contact with we have this 5 mayors of Lee County dinner quite often, and we've become really good friends in the process. And it really came in fairly. It was a good thing here because with the challenges we had during the voting, even with the challenges we had during the advanced voting there, the week before. Mayor Sullivan, Mayor Henderson, and myself stayed in contact pretty much the whole time, and we talked Tuesday evening quite a bit about what we could do to help our citizens a little better. So I think we're going to be setting up a meeting. The 5 of us are going to be setting up a meeting with the now much maligned supervisor of elections to see if there's any way that we can do this in the cities, because we are the centers of population centers in the county. So we want to be able to go ahead and be sure that if any area is covered, it's those areas of population that Martha referred to on the coastlines needs to be covered very well. So and we want to do it in a manner that's in a positive manner and that's helpful at this point in time, because emotions are pretty raw right now. And other than that, that is it. Let's see, what else we got here?
Move to approve the minutes.
We have a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Nelson.
Aye.
Councilman Simmons.
Aye.
Councilwoman Simons.
Thank you, yes.
Councilman Longcart.
Aye.
Councilman McIntosh.
Aye.
Councilwoman Martin.
Aye.
Councilman Sutton.
Aye.
Okay, and public comment. Anyone wishing to speak at this time, please come forward.
Okay, Rick Steinmeier. I'm glad to see the LPA is going to review Chapter 4's amendments. I've listed 4.2046A and 4.202 mobile food vendors. I'd like to know what a mobile is, how often they got to move. The appeal process for the decisions that are made. Outdoor rangers. The outdoor shooting range, 4.2472A3. I can understand not having a gun range outside in the city. Maybe an indoor one could be approved for people to use their guns, to practice with their guns so they can shoot the people that are robbing their houses. 4.20192E, parking lot and hucksters. I looked up hucksters in the dictionary. I don't think we want hucksters in the city, but thank you.
It's a rather archaic term, isn't it?
Ooh.
We're all getting archaic.
Hey, come on.
Hi, this is Deb McLean with the Banana Peel. I'm going to disappoint you and tell you that I really like the city of Bonita Springs. It really is stellar, and we have a great opportunity with our operating ordinance on homeless shelter and our future operating orders on social services. I know of 5 different cities that are waiting for us, and we are going to be a trendsetter nationwide. And it's a protection, it's a public safety issue. So we do a lot of things here that are really good, and I know that it's hard for you to hear this from me because most of the time the Banana Peel complains, but Bonita is really not edge of the art, but state of the art in many, many areas. We just need to tighten up on a couple little things. Thank you.
Thank you very much. See, who was the guy who suggested doing an ordinance for that? Who was that? Nothing.
Kathy McGrath, may I close this meeting with some happy, happy, happy stuff? Riverfest. Oh my gosh, what can I say about it? With the petting zoo and the hay rides, and I had the opportunity to have that, I thought I'd never forget his name, the iguana next to me. And he was, oh, the kids loved him. You didn't see that, Ben?
Oh, I saw him.
Oh.
Spunky Taylor.
Spunky. There you go. Thanks. Anyway, the Imperial River, which I know I didn't make up the name. I don't know who said it. I call it the crown jewel, and it is. Okay. But if someone can tell me who actually named it that. The other day, Saturday, the Imperial River Conservancy took a little bit care of our crown jewel. We did our fall waterways cleanup, and I'm happy to report not a lot of stuff was found. Someone did find a big lounge chair, but other than that, no, we did real well. And we are continuing with our monofilament collection. I have a box that must weigh about 40 pounds if I can get it to UPS. And there are about 8 collection receptacles. I went around the other day, and I mean, it's a wonderful thing. And we have to thank Richard Ferreira for thinking about it, and former city manager Gary Price for installing, and Bonita Springs Utilities for fabricating. It's wonderful. Okay, and here's another bright note. The boat parade's coming up. Now, I don't help organize it. Adam Botero does a wonderful job. And every year, the Imperial River Conservancy donates a prize for the best decorated nonprofit. And it's been $200. Well, guess what? The other night, we decided to up it. It's going to be $250 this year. So all you nonprofits better get out there and start putting your thinking caps on. And it's on December 10th. I know there's a lot of stuff going on. And I guess that's about it. And with that, I'll say good night.
Thank you very much. Anyone else this time? Anyone else this time? Please come forward. Seeing none, council, staff, everyone, thank you very much. Have a good evening.